Let's wholesale real estate. We're gonna wholesale real estate. If you wanna wholesale real estate, then you are in the right place. You don't need no money, you don't need no credit. It's so simple that anyone can get it. Luke's gonna teach you just how to get started. All you have to do is learn and apply it. You are in the right place. You're gonna wholesale real estate. Let's wholesale real estate. We're gonna wholesale real estate.
Have you ever looked at a deal and thought, the numbers make sense, the buyer's there, the seller agreed, so why does this feel shaky? If you've ever been confused by a deal falling apart after everything looked right, this episode is for you. Welcome back to School of Wholesaling. I'm your host, Luke Madeus. Over the last few episodes, we've talked about leverage, buyers, and even walked through a real $25,000 wholesale deal step by step. But today, I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. Because once you understand how deals actually work in the real world, you realize something very important. Most deals don't fall apart because of numbers. They fall apart because of people. And if you don't understand the human side of this business, you will stay frustrated, even when you're doing the technical parts correctly. Quick pause before we go deeper. If this podcast has helped you think more clearly about real estate, a short review helps more people find it. All right, let's slow this down. When I first got into wholesaling, I believed something that a lot of people believe. I thought real estate was mostly logical. I believed if the numbers work, the deal closes. And on paper, that sounds right. But experience taught me otherwise. I've watched deals with weak numbers close easily. And I've watched strong deals stall, drag, and even eventually collapse. That's when I learned something that changed how I operate. Deals aren't just math problems, family. They're human decision processes. I remember a deal early on that still stands out to me. The numbers were solid. The buyer was ready. The seller agreed to the price. But every conversation felt tense. The seller kept saying things like, I just need one more day to think. And internally, I was frustrated. I remember thinking, what's the problem? Everything makes sense. What I didn't understand back then was this. The seller wasn't stuck on the price. They were stuck emotionally. Fear doesn't respond to logic the way we think it does. Here's what's really happening when a deal starts to wobble. Someone is uncertain. Someone feels rushed. Someone doesn't feel fully oriented. And when people don't feel oriented, they slow down. They hesitate. They delay. They look for exits, not because the deal is bad, but because clarity hasn't fully landed yet. This is where mature investors operate differently. Closers don't push harder when things get uncomfortable. They slow down. They ask better questions. They create space. They separate fear from facts. They understand that people don't want to be convinced. They want to feel certain enough to move forward. Family. This is one of the reasons I use Deal Machine in my business. Not because it creates deals out of thin air, but because it creates structure. Deal Machine helps you track conversations clearly, remember details sellers share, follow up without pressure, stay organized instead of reactive. When you are calm and clear, the people you're working with feel it. If you want to check it out, you can get free credits and a 7-day free trial by clicking the link in the show notes or by going to drive4deals.com. All right, family, let's get back to the human side of this. One of the biggest shifts in my business came when I stopped asking, how do I close this deal faster? And started asking, what does this person still need clarity on? That question changes everything. It removes pressure, it builds trust, it stabilizes decisions. And stable decisions are the ones that actually close. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, I know the steps, but things still feel uncertain sometimes, that doesn't mean you're bad at real estate. It means you're learning how to lead people through decisions, not just process paperwork. That's a different kind of skill, and it's a learned skill, not an assumed skill. This is where guidance really helps, family. Not because you're incapable, but because it's hard to see blind spots when you're inside the situation. Clarity shortens timelines. Perspective stabilizes confidence. Faith doesn't replace discipline in this business, family. It anchors it. Wisdom looks like patience. Discernment looks like slowing down. Obedience often looks like taking the right step, not the fastest one. If this episode helped you see what might be happening beneath the surface in your deals, and you want clarity for your specific situation, you're invited to book a free real estate strategy call with me. During that call, we'll talk through where your deals stall, identify exactly what's causing all the hesitation, bring structure to your next move, map a path forward so you can stand with confidence. The link is in the description of the show notes. No pressure, just clarity. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Au revoir.